Welcome to ZUMBI, a monthly conversation with artists, activists, and scholars whose work is influenced by the richness of Black life in Austin and around the world. Your host is writer and community curator, Stephanie L. Lane.
All right. Good morning, KZI listeners. And again, this is ZUMBI, named after Afro-Brazilian freedom fighter Zumbi dos Palmares. And as always, I am your host, Stephanie Lane. And as always, making it happen on the ones and the twos, holding it down, is DJ Slice.
How are you doing this morning?
Good. I'm good.
Good.
I'm excited for who we have with us today. And I'm going to warn you, DJ Slice, this is somebody who, when I have conversations with, we go all over the place and time can get away from me. So I'm going to need you to hold me down as always.
I got you, girl. I got you.
All right. So this person is a friend. I'm all omnious and mysterious about it. A friend, a colleague, truly a creative mentor to me. Someone who, when I think about all of these ways in which I've interacted with the creative community in Austin, she shows up and has been doing this work in so many ways for so many years. So I am happy and honored to welcome today's guest, award-winning interdisciplinary artist, activist, and educator, Miss Florinda Bryant.
Hey, girl.
Yay! Yes. So we go way, way back. Yes.
Way back.
And I was thinking, first time I met you, I know it was definitely the 90s. And this is before I even started working for Black Studies. Uh-huh. You were rehearsing with Sharon Bridgeforth at Hyde Park. Mm-hmm. This was like a long time ago.
Yeah, but that sounds about right. I think it was either there or I always assumed I first met you deep in the night in one of them hip hop hump day early. Did that come before that? After that? This was before that?
Yes. Like I hadn't met any of, I didn't even know who Sharon was. Somebody just like, come over here with me to this. So you mentioned some things. So Hip Hop Hump Day, our connection through Black Studies, University of Texas, with Algo, with this short-lived, you remember, it was called like the Hip Hop Council.
Yes. I remember. Yeah. I remember also when I was, I remember being pregnant and us having a meeting, and then we were at Victory Grill for one of those meetings. So many things.
Yeah, it's been so many. Yeah, it was great just kind of thinking about this in preparation for our talk today. So to tell a little bit more about you, and because I know you, I might do a little ad lib within this. And feel free to spin. So let's see. She is a Texas girl who calls Austin home, and a real deal Texas girl. Like you were around horses and all that, right?
Yeah. I grew up, doing the cowgirl thing.
Yeah. As a performer and director, she has worked with Salvage Vanguard Theater, the Rude Mex, the Vortex, Paper Chairs, Theater en Bloc, all right, and Teatro Vivo in Austin, Texas, and the Ensemble Theater in Houston, Texas. Having trained for over 20 years in performance jazz aesthetics, Florinda has worked extensively with Sharon Bridgeforth, the legendary Sharon Bridgeforth. Most recently, performing the blues in That Black Mermaid Man Lady at Pillsbury House in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Some of her favorite, more recent performances include Pork Chop Wars, written and directed by the legendary, the late and great Laurie Carlos in Austin, as part of the Performing Blackness series. And Minneapolis, Pangea World Theater, the regional premiere of Until the Flood by Dial?
Dell.
Dale, okay. Orlando Smith.
Mm-hmm.
And Your Healing is Killing Me by Virginia Grice, Playmakers in NC, and Caramia Theater in Dallas, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's so much we can say, but I just at least wanted to mention that, and the fact that as a writer, Florinda engages audiences in exploration around identity, body, and community. Her award-winning one-woman show, Half Breed Southern Fried, produced as part of the Performing Blackness series at the University of Texas, was directed by Laurie Carlos. In fall 2019, yes, Miss Bryant was named the inaugural Omi Oshun Joni L. Jones Visiting Performing Artist for the African and African Diaspora Studies Department at UT. And most recently, this is a very humble bio, by the way. Most recently, the regional premiere of her one-woman show, Black Do Crack, at Ground Floor Theater in Austin, Texas, was nominated for 5 B. Item Payne Awards, including, let me say that again, 5, y'all, including Outstanding Production of a Drama, Original Script, Direction of a Drama, Dramaturgy, and Lead Actress in a Drama, which she won. Florinda has worked with at-risk communities, young men and women and adults, using performance as a social justice tool for empowerment and change for over 18 years. Having recently retired from arts administration with Creative Action and Salvage Vanguard. I might have lost the page here.
That's all right. I just said I'm here and I'm focusing on the work. That's all there is.
Yes. Good wrap up. So, the first question that I have is one that I really ask a lot of guests, and I think it's so poignant to you and your journey, is basically that. What has brought you to this work? And when I say the work, like all these different ways in which you use art to, hold space, right? And to tell the truth for yourself and others. So, and I know that that's a large ask, right, to kind of condense this. But I think it would be really important for listeners to kind of get a sense of where you come from.
I'm like, I feel like this is one of the, girl, it ain't nothing but God. That ain't nothing but God and my ancestors, the universe, because all of those things, they want me to tell the truth, and they want me to be here. They want all of us to be here. They want all of us to be here healthy and whole and free. And so my art, even when I think I'm getting away from it, even when I think life is helping me find ways to interrupt it, I can always count on that. At the end of every accolade or every opportunity, the thing that came right before that is not always so cute or so sexy. You know what I mean? Like I can, I had to, when I first moved to Austin, I was, not making my best choices in Houston and was in an abusive situation. And so I just took off and I came here. And at that time, I thought, okay, well, now my career, that's a thing I have to let go of. I don't have room for that. This is the thing, and was gonna walk away from the work and ended up in an audition room on accident in front of Sharon Bridgeforth, in front of Laurie Carlos. And so every time I feel like I am going left, I always end up on the right path, which I think, again, just goes back to just I'm where God wants me to be, where my ancestors are helping me fight to be. And my art always helps me continue to try to find freedom. Lean not to your own understanding. Half the time I don't even know what's going on, which also gives me really a great hope about this particular moment that we're in. I may not always be clear about what's happening around me or the why, and sometimes it don't feel good, but it is a part of a journey, and that journey always brings me back to the art and this quest for freedom for me and for the folks that look like me.
Thank you for that. And absolutely. And what you just said about, the work and standing in that and maybe not even knowing where it's going to take you, the amount of vulnerability that takes to be there and be present in that and trusting yourself. How did you get there? How was that?
Right. Look, how does that work? Well, to hear me tell it, most of the times I don't feel like I'm doing a very good job of that at all. And there has been times in my career, as a single mother, as someone who is extremely, a huge part of my work in the why is my commitment to community and my commitment to Black and brown folks, specifically, Black folks. I cannot, I don't know. And half the time I'm afraid, and half the time I'm like, how am I gonna, earn a living? But I've been, really blessed, like, the opportunity with creative action, although it required a lot of time from me and sometimes a lot of time away from my own personal work. I was helping create an organization that supported hundreds of Black and brown artists and helping us be able to sustain ourselves. So I guess maybe that's something. It is expanding what I think of as the work. If I thought that the work was just me sitting down and writing something, then I would have gave up a long time ago. But sometimes the work is, did I get up and eat today? Sometimes the work is, did I love today? Did I allow myself to be loved today? And so I think expanding what we think of as the work has been really helpful to me, so that I'm not looking for success. To me is not just when I'm on stage. Success to me is me living and saying good morning and good night.
Yes, absolutely. I hear that. So we're going to take a quick break.
Okay.
We'll be right back.
KAZI 88.7 on your FM dial.
All right. We are back with interdisciplinary artist Florinda Bryant. And on the break, we were locking and ticking.
Yeah.
We're representing.
I do, Stephanie, before we get away from the last question, because there is something that's important that I do not want to sleep on as being, just because I'm so grateful for it. You need a clique. You need a crew. You need community. You need people that are going to call you out if that's what you need, call you in if that's what you need. So I do want to say that my journey, no matter how rough it's been, I've been very well supported, and God always brings me people that care about me, that see me, and you're one of those people. So community also is the thing that keeps me moving forward, which is why I will always be committed to the community in my work and what I'm trying to do, because I'm not a singular being. I don't operate that way. My work doesn't happen in this little silo. As an artist, I'm very much aware of what's happening to the people around me and in my community. And my work is to make us, help us all find freedom and move forward. And so I got, I have mentors, friends, colleagues. I'm loved very well, and I'm very grateful for that.
Definitely. That's a really important thing to note, right? And thinking about community and connected with the fact that you are interdisciplinary artists, right? So, within our communities, there's these, I won't even say silos, right? Because they're all connected. So thinking about, you as a performance artist and, your work in the hip hop scene as an MC and as a singer and as a director, all of these ways, like all of these spaces that you hold. Does that kind of also speak to the way that you're committed to the community? Because I really find you as someone that brings all of these different groups together.
I think it was one of those early, the Austin Project, which was headed up by Dr. Joni Jones, Omi Oshun, and it was, you were in that group, and we were artists, activists, and scholars trying to figure out the work together. And Carl Hancock Rooks brought up this idea of singularity. Like sometimes, we think like, oh, what's the one thing you want to be? Or what's the we're very singular in our thinking of like, oh, I have this one career. Oh, there's this one thing that I have to do. And him saying that really cracked some things open for me as an artist. I'm a dancer, I'm a singer, I rap, I could do poetry, I can do all of these things. And why was so much time being invested on only having one label or only giving myself permission to explore one particular avenue? And I think that it also speaks to us as, like Black and brown folks, particularly in America, that gumbo, we are the mix, I'm a Black Mexican, and that's a real specific thing. And I'm going to make a way for me to step fully into a room with everything that I got. That's every part of me. And I'm not going to label myself to make me easier consumable by somebody else. Like that helps other people. So I definitely think that I can't come into the room without everything that I've learned on stage. And that's like, so everybody coming with me, we go, and that's art. And I think that duality is so much a part of all of us. And there's freedom in that. Like we only get that, we're only trying to fit in boxes because somebody out there made the box for us to get into. And I'm not here for that.
And within these ways in which you are connected to all these spaces and are not defined by, just one box, you really fight to, amplify and give respect to the art community, right? Specifically the art community in Austin. And I know that has been challenging at times, that there's been sacrifices, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, yeah. It's like, yes, I am Florinda Bryant, and I can say that almost killed me. Like holding space for everyone else in the world is a really hard thing to do. But to do that as a Black woman for Black folks is this whole other thing. Like when we have, the racial disparities in our city, when we have to, a lot of times be arguing for the right for Black art to exist, but for Black lives to exist, for Black property owners to exist inside Austin proper. Like it gets very, we move with a particular set of challenges. Ahmaud Arbery, we can't run in the streets like everybody else. There are there are challenges that we face. So being an arts administrator as a Black woman it takes a lot out of you. Is it worth it? Absolutely. Could I maintain it long term? No. So yeah. So
as I knew, this time has gone so fast.
It has, but this was fun. I'm glad. I'm proud of Austin, and I'm proud of Black Austin, and I've loved being able just to talk about my work. And for people who don't know who Florinda Bryant is, I want them to know about me, and I want them, because I'm looking for y'all, so y'all start looking for me.
And that is a perfect segue into a conversation about what you're working on now. And I know that you're also going to bless us with some text, right, from your latest work that's been a bit adapted.
Well, this particular, what I'm going to read today is from the original script, and the show that I did, which premiered at Ground Floor Theater last February, is a work called Black Do Crack. Okay. And it's an examination of the mythology of the strong Black woman. I started working on this piece 2016. Well, actually, I've been working on the piece for a while, meaning just noticing, and I think it was somewhere between Philando and just recognizing that I was killing myself being a strong Black woman doing this for the community. And there's so much a part of that trope, which is necessary for us to survive, which is its own set of problems. But I just was really obsessed with this idea of like, what happens if we take the cape off? What happens if we give ourselves permission to be vulnerable? And not even before we're vulnerable, for us to have humanity, that we're human. And so it became really important for me to create a piece for Black women so they know that I saw them, that someone saw them, and then I wanted us to be on stage because we deserve that mic time, and hopefully through art we can continue to find ways to take care of ourselves and give ourselves permission to be human.
Oh, so important, so powerful. Brave, right? And it's a poignant reminder for me sometimes, and again, swinging back to this idea of vulnerability and that there's power in that. Somehow I think we got this notion that vulnerability equals weakness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do. And I often get kind of caught up because before I can even be vulnerable, before I can even I have to be human. Mm. And I think that out of necessity, that cape, that like, a lot of women, we don't choose. No one wants to get up every morning and work themselves into an early grave because they have to take care of theirs in a world that does not treat them fairly, does not give them justice. There's not like there's no humanity in that. And so claiming our humanity has become really, really important to me. It's like the S on our chest. We can do it, but we ain't got, it's not a choice. People don't wake up and they be like, I'm gonna work myself into this early grave. I'm gonna martyr myself so that, I can take care of my family. Like, that's not freedom. That's not being free. And we deserve to be free.
Absolutely. And we both can speak to so many, mentors, right? Mm-hmm. And that this was actually the case. They worked themselves.
Oh, and we all have like mentors, people. We have them aunties, grandmas, mamas, like that. This has been the MO. This has been like the Black woman who has literally carried this country and our families on our back for hundreds of years. It's a bad habit, and it's going to take some time to break, but we've got to have these conversations. And I hope that this piece provides that for the people.
Absolutely. So will you please honor us as we leave?
Okay, yes. All right. My name is Florinda Bryant, and I'll be reading one of my characters called The Comedian. And this is from my show, Black Do Crack. Yeah, well, at least we don't look like what we've been through, right? Talk about some Black girl magic, because we look good, don't we? Them 10-year challenges on Facebook? That'd be something else, don't it? I swear I stay at home and I just slow clap for us. Was it just me, or did it seem like that challenge didn't really catch on for some of us? And by some of us, I mean y'all, white people. It is something, though. It's amazing how wonderful Black women look. I mean, look at Amy Maxine, Cicely Tyson, Angela Bassett, Taji, that sister right there. Black don't crack, baby. I grew up hearing that my whole life. Black don't crack, Black don't crack. Shoot, now you even hear white folks saying it. I mean, and it's a beautiful thing when you see Black women congratulating each other on how good we look, how fabulous, how amazing. Thank God we don't look like what we've been through. I was reading, yes, a sister can read and write. Well, it was some kind of psychology article, and they were talking about how when you experience trauma, time kind of stops. The immediate result of trauma in our lives is an interruption of growth and maturity. So what you're saying is, what that means is if trauma causes you to stop growing, causes time to stop, so to speak, we are talking the biggest aha moment in my life, because Black women are born into trauma. We walk through the door with that on our backs. Your mother was born with you in her and her and her mother. So her trauma plus her trauma and my trauma. No wonder I look 5. I am. And so, I was thinking that that's the energy behind when a Black woman says to another Black woman, girl, you look good. When a Black woman says to another Black woman, thank God we don't look like what we've been through. Because what we really mean is thank God that we don't look like the most mistreated human beings on the face of this earth. Thank God you don't look at us and see the trauma that we're born into. Like our sons don't get murdered with no justice. Like our daughters aren't overly sexualized. Like we aren't overly sexualized. Thank God we don't look like we wear capes to hype ourselves into believing we're supposed to be invincible. We don't look like we're born into with trauma pumping in our veins. We don't look like the life assigned to us. We don't look like martyrs who believe that we're saving the world. We don't look like the dysfunction that systems create to take us out. We out here working at Black don't crack. Life may be trash, but hey, at least we look good.
Ooh, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yes, for being here, especially right now, right? I appreciate you taking the time with everything going on. Mm-hmm. Again, thank you for the work that you've done and continue to do. My guest was Florinda Bryant. Mm-hmm. I'm Stephanie Lang. You're listening to ZUMBI. Until next time, take care of yourself and be gentle with yourself. Goodbye.
You've been listening to ZUMBI with host Stephanie L. Lang on KAZI 88.7, The Voice of Austin. ZUMBI is brought to you with support from the John L. Warfield Center for African and African American Studies